the Sideload, where we are finally recovered from our CES and holiday fatigue. I am your host, Will Sattelberg, and welcome to what I'm calling Season 1 of the Sideload. You know, maybe the previous 17 episodes can be a trial Season 0, if you will. Thank you for listening to our first run of episodes, whether you listened to all 17 or just checked out a few minutes. I appreciate it regardless. Thank you if you submitted feedback using our poll at the end of last episode right before the holidays. I greatly appreciate that. Slight new format for the show. If you can't tell, we are introducing the show here instead of with our guest. A couple other small changes coming in the future weeks, but nothing crazy. And I'm really excited for some of the special guests we have coming up. I don't see a reason to wait. I'm going to throw to our guest right now. So here is my interview from last week with Android Central's Derrek Lee. I am thrilled to welcome to the show Derrek Lee, the managing editor at Android Central. Derrek, welcome to the Sideload. How are you doing, dude?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, happy New Year. We're going to talk about some New Year's resolutions. We're only 3 weeks late to that because of CES, really. But you know what? The holidays are they're a vibe. They're a
aren't
mindset.
We all 3 weeks late to our New Year's resolutions?
Well, so that's the thing is that people don't understand about working in the tech industry is that like, if you want to get a jump on your resolutions on January 1st, you can go for it. But, by January 3rd or 4th, a lot of us are going to be down in Las Vegas and like you are not hitting those. I don't know what your resolution is. You're not achieving it in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I was in London.
Matter.
Like I had already started my diet.
Yeah.
A little preview until my resolutions are, but I had already started my diet. And then I was in London. And when the first week of January, and when I travel, diet goes out the door.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally get that.
It's difficult. And it's even just trying to you flew from the West Coast to London, so you're eating at least one airport. And that's probably, unless it was a direct flight, that's which there might be, but that would be very long. And even just eating at an airport is incredibly difficult to find a healthy-ish option.
Not even just that, but eating on the plane.
Yeah. Oh God. Plane food is
they're not the greatest and healthiest.
No,
meal,
you're eating what you're handed because you're hungry. That's it.
Yep.
Cool. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. I wanted to start here by saying, so Derrek, I know 3 truths about you. All right. I know you love Kingdom Hearts. That's just true about you. You're the number one Kingdom Hearts fan I know. You've got the tattoos.
I don't know if you can
exactly.
See my tattoo.
You got the tattoos to prove it. I know you have a sweet tooth. You and I both share a sweet tooth. We have been to late night cafe runs on tech events. And I know you're a big there. Oh, there we go. Wow, I did not tell Derrek I was going to do this bit. That's really funny. And I know you're a fan of both Samsung and Motorola. That's my third one, right? You like Samsung. I feel like I have watched you become a Motorola fan over the last few years.
Yeah, I joke about that with a lot of people. Yeah. I used to be a Motorola hater. A few years ago, I wrote a fairly scathing article about Motorola. I won't call it scathing, but okay, maybe it was. But yeah, that has completely changed.
Well, what about? Let's start here actually before we even get to your article. What about Motorola has changed for you? What do you identify with them?
I mean, to be honest, at the time when I wrote that article, I was such an LG fanboy. And just losing LG was really hard on me. And then to see all these articles come out a little bit later about how Motorola is now doing so well, they're number 3 in North America. I'm like, well, that's only because LG is gone. Motorola wasn't doing anything particularly interesting at the time.
Yeah.
But then that all changed, honestly, when the Razr Plus 2023 was launched.
A great phone, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not a perfect phone, but a great phone.
Definitely not. And, Motorola had been doing flip phones since 2019,
Yeah.
to varying degrees of success. And then they kind of skipped a year with the US where they launched the 2022 in like China, but it never came
Yes.
elsewhere.
Yeah.
Or maybe it came to Europe, I don't know, but it didn't come to the US. So I was like, all right, fine, I guess. So I was really looking forward to it. And then the 2023 came out and it kind of just blew me away. Um, I I hadn't used a foldable before that.
Yeah.
I hadn't used a flip phone before that, or at least a modern flip phone. So I was really curious to see like what that would be like, and just the expansive cover screen, um, just just that in particular is what like really got me.
Yeah.
The fact that I could use my apps just out of the box on the cover screen, um, I just thought was just such a great thing. And also, like being able to take selfies or like, for the social media TikTokers, like you could just set your phone
Yeah.
down and just like record a video of yourself. Like just the versatility of the cover screen is what really got me. So then like, and yeah, the phone wasn't perfect. The cameras were not the best.
Yeah, the cameras were rough. The hinge,
The hinge,
they fixed the
it
hinge
was
the next
flimsy, but
year.
yeah, it definitely improved. Like the camera improved quite a bit. I think that they
Yeah.
like took a lot of the feedback and improved the cameras. They did switch to like a telephoto lens the next year, and I realized how much I missed the ultra wide. And I was like, do I really need a telephoto lens on a flip phone? If they can fit it as a third camera, sure. But I would rather an ultra wide. That's
Yeah.
when I learned that I prefer the ultra wide over telephoto. Um, but yeah, the hinge got better the next year. Cameras got better.
More
I
color
think that's when they
options.
gave us a larger cover screen as well.
Yeah.
Um, just a
Yeah,
lot of
because they
things
kept the
got
smaller one
better.
for the cheaper models. Yeah.
Yeah, and even for the cheaper model, that like
Oh man.
the 2023 only had like this small little
The
thing.
little display. The 2024 Razr was actually the one I reviewed. I did not review the Razr Plus, and like that
Mhm.
phone, great because like the battery life was like it wasn't like incredible, but it was better than any other clamshell because it had
Yeah,
a weaker chip in it, and the chip was totally fine for daily use. So it was
yeah,
like as long as you
yeah.
weren't
Like I
gaming
wasn't
it
expecting
and
multi-day.
right, yeah, and so and gaming is so uncomfortable on modern clamshells anyway because they're so tall that it's like yeah
Yeah,
this is good enough like for 700
yeah.
bucks why not yeah
And like the great thing about Motorola phones is that they're constantly on sale. So you
yeah
could get a flip phone for like 500, $600, Um, and last year's Razr, the Razr Ultra, was kind of Motorola just like, all right, we've proven that we can do this. Now let's throw everything into this phone
yeah
and like
there's a little bit of
make
overkill.
it really, it was, but also at the same time, it's like, I compare it to the Galaxy S25 Ultra, and I'm like, in a lot of ways, like Motorola's phone, like faster charging.
True,
Um,
it's true.
I think, well, the battery wasn't as large, but there was just a lot about Motorola's phone that, like, not a lot, but like a few things that were better. I think it came with, like, Motorola's phone comes with 256, or sorry, 512
Yeah,
gigabytes
I think it starts at
standard.
512. Very similar to
Yeah,
like a OnePlus, right? Where like they're starting at higher storage configurations as
16
opposed to
gigabytes of RAM.
yeah.
So like a lot of the specs like are comparable to the Galaxy S25 Ultra.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the price was also the same. Um, that was like the only thing that like I didn't like about the Razer Ultra 2025 was the price. I'm like, I get it. It's a flip phone. It's a great phone. The specs are fantastic, but like, I don't know if I'm like, I want to pay this much for a Motorola phone
It was
as
so
much as
much
I love
money.
Motorola.
Yeah. Well, and it was another year where again I kind of felt like, you were getting 80% of the experience with the $700 model, but you were saving $600. And it was like, I don't know, man. Like for what you're not giving up that much to cut the price in half, right? Like
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I was like, I there's a give and take here, and it felt a little bit like maybe the Razr Ultra should have been. There shouldn't have been a plus, and the Ultra should have been the plus, and price closer to 1,000. Maybe 1,100, but it was tricky. And so that kind of brings us to your article that you published a week ago as we record, titled "I love flip phones, but the Razr Fold and the Galaxy Z TriFold are both tempting me to switch to book style foldables for very different reasons." I really enjoyed this article. I enjoyed your thoughts because I do think of you as primarily a clamshell person and a huge fan of Razr. And then also, I know you keep your eye on what Samsung's doing with their Flip series. And we didn't talk about them as much, but that's because it's so frustrating that it's like you guys are doing like the same hardware ideas pretty well. It's just like the software doesn't come together because you refuse to like unnerf the front screen. It's so frustrating.
And not just that, like I like Samsung's One UI. I love it, despite what everyone else wants to say. But
that might be a better descriptor for you, by the way, is that you're not a Samsung fan, but you are a One UI fan.
Yes. Because if I could get a Razr with One UI, because I'm not a huge fan of Motorola software, but I love what they're doing with again the cover screen and the flip phone. But if I could get a Razr with One UI, with
the Razr cover screen, it's like you want like a full mixture of the two platforms.
Yes.
Well, so your article is basically about being like, okay, I am a flip phone person, but both the Razr Fold, which we saw at CES, and then the Galaxy Z TriFold, which was announced in December and is coming presumably alongside the S26 series. Those are the devices that are like making you want to switch away from the Razr or the Flip, the next Flip 8, the Razr 2026, and turn your attention to these bigger screen devices. And I'm kind of curious about that because I don't think I've ever seen you use or even really talk about like larger foldables. I don't think it's something that like has caught your attention before. So what is it about these two devices that has you thinking about switching to a bigger screen device?
So it's not that I haven't used a larger screen foldable. I've dabbled in a couple of them. I think the first one I used was the Pixel 9 Pro Fold.
Okay.
And I wrote an article, I think last year or maybe the year before, kind of comparing my experience with the Razr Plus 2024 and the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and just kind of like how using a book style foldable was kind of just a very different experience that I wasn't sure how to feel about. Like I didn't hate it, but it wasn't for me. Like I saw a lot of the positives, a lot of the things that people will talk about as to like why they like these phones. Just the fact that like you have this expensive inner screen and you have just more room to play with apps and whatnot, more multitasking, just better experience overall, just with media and whatnot. But it just wasn't for me. I don't know. And then I use the Oppo Find.
Oh, the Find N5?
Yes.
We got there. We both got there together with the same tone of I think this is right, but I'm uncertain.
So yeah, I used that, and I also enjoyed it. But and I thought I had a great camera. But again, like it just didn't grab me.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is because they're so much bulkier than not just a clamshell phone, but just other phones in general. And this is changing, right? The N5 is pretty slim, the Fold 7, but there's still, you are either adding on some cumbersome elements. So with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, it's thicker, it's heavier, it's worse cameras. That's kind of across the board. And then, if you are picking up a more modern foldable from the last 12 months or so, you might be getting a thin and light chassis, but you're still making sacrifices whether it be with the battery on the Fold 7 or again, cameras or software experiences, even just like durability in general, and the fact that you're carrying these two displays that both kind of make sacrifices. Like I can understand why, if you're not finding an immediate use case with the bigger screen, then you start to think like, well, why am I carrying this?
See, and it wasn't even so much that. Like, I never had a problem with the size.
That's what's always been a hiccup for me. So I'm excited to hear your reasoning, because that's usually what keeps people from jumping in.
Yeah, size was never the problem. I thought it was cool that like they opened up to like, a big tablet like experience. But the big thing for me was that like, well, there was a couple things, and I don't know, I always felt that there was something missing. When I would watch a video, I'd still have like those big black bars.
Yeah.
Either way, and it's like, all right, well, I might as well just watch this closed. Like, there's no reason for me to like have the phone open and watch a video.
That's even truer if you're looking at devices like an S25 Ultra next to the Fold 7, where you're like, okay, I guess technically the Fold 7's like video playback space is like, 4% larger, 7% larger or something, but like, that's not that much of a jump. You know what I mean? Like, because all of these foldables are essentially like 1x1 screens, you end up with a very similar aspect ratio for media. And that's true of games too. Like, it's not even
especially
just
games. Like, I did not want to play any of my games on the larger screen, which I thought would be fun. Like, I thought with the larger screen, I'd want to like consume media and play games on the larger screen, just because it's, you have all this, more real estate. But no, that wasn't the case. Like, games were just always awkward, and I don't know.
Sometimes
there's always something kind of missing. And to me, like, with the, going to the TriFold, and I still haven't seen one like in person yet. Hopefully once it comes to the US, then I'll get my chance. But like with the TriFold, like what I noticed is that, and it kind of made me realize that this is what I think I found was missing with the other foldables, is that just the aspect ratio, the fact that it's not like you're not getting a square, you're getting more of like a typical tablet like aspect. Yeah. And then I realized, I'm like, all right, when I look back at like how I described all these foldables, I always described it as like, they open to like a tablet like display. And now I'm like, okay, well, was that actually true? Because now we're actually getting something that gives me the phone, like the typical smartphone experience, and the tablet experience with this, massive 10-inch screen, which, I mean, most modern foldables, like at minimum, are like 10, 11 inches. So it's much more closer to that experience. The aspect ratio just seems perfect, ideal. And then like, even like with the whole just like multitasking and like productivity like aspect of it, like just the fact that you have like so much more real estate to work with, the fact that it works, like you could use Dex mode.
True window support is huge.
Which like I'm not like super like into Dex, but the fact that like you can use it on this phone like as its own thing. Like one of my colleagues, Andrew, he wrote an article I think a while back about how Samsung should have Dex as like the default mode for, I think it's tablets. And like now that I'm seeing that, I'm like, maybe he was on something.
Not untrue. Yeah. Interesting.
So like that's kind of where the TriFold is with me. It's like just it's giving us what we thought we had with the typical foldables, where we're getting that regular smartphone, if you want it, and then you can open it up to like this big expansive tablet basically. Whereas before I feel like it was kind of just like this sort of half-baked not so much half baked, but like it wasn't quite there
No,
with
I know
other
what you
foldables.
mean. Where it was so weird that we all kind of consolidated. The tech brands all consolidated on like essentially the same design, right? Like you go back, and I've ranted about this previously, but you go back even just like 2 years, and you have the original Pixel Fold and Samsung's earlier foldable concepts, and there were lots of different and the OnePlus Open, which kind of cemented what we have now, but all of those are very different devices, and within like 12 months of the Open launching, everyone just went like, oh, that's the design that we were supposed to do, and everybody follows suit. Like in the Pixel Fold was not a device I liked, but the design of it, like the shape of it, was not the problem I had with that phone.
Yeah.
Right. Like I wasn't asking for them to completely redesign the layout of it. I was asking them to make it lighter and improve the hinge. All things they did. They just also changed the shape and size of the device in general. Which I don't know. I've always thought was like a weird thing, because I as we're saying, like, a 1x1-ish display looks good and feels good at first glance, but once you've used it for even just like a week, you really start to, unless you were a very specific, power user, you kind of start bumping up against these things where you're like, all right, well, like this app doesn't scale well. And as we talked about, media is not really an improvement here. It's not bad, but it's not really an improvement either. And my 3 favorite games actually don't scale well on this, so I have to play them on the outside screen. And you start hitting all of these restrictions where you're like, why did I spend $2,000 on this?
Yeah, and that's a big thing too, the price.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I want to talk about that in a minute with the Razr, because I think that's going to come back big with the Razr Fold. But the TriFold, it's like that solves a lot of those issues. It might introduce some additional ones, and it brings back the weight issue. And it's a bulky phone, even though it is not that much thicker than what the standard foldable Samsung was making just a couple of years ago. But it's still a question of like, and also the price is going to be insane. It's, in the 2000s for sure. And if not more. But at the very least, in my head, and again, maybe this turns into a thing where I'd spend 7 days with it and it doesn't click, but I'm curious if you feel the same way. You look at this and you're like, I think that fixes a lot of the issues I have with like current day foldables.
That is literally like what I thought. And like, again, like for someone who's like not been like that big onto like these book style foldables, like as soon as I saw the TriFold, as soon as they announced it, I was like, I could see myself using that. Now, could I see myself buying it?
Well,
that's another thing.
That's
but like
problem.
At least like I would love to try it out. I would love to like get my hands on one and just like see what it feels like, because like it to me, like you said, it feels like it kind of solves a lot of those problems. And then even like adds, solutions that I didn't even like think that Samsung would. Again, like with the Dex mode, like I didn't expect them to do that with the phone, but I think that that's great. And again, you're getting a 2-in-1. You're getting a smartphone, you're getting a tablet, basically. So I think that that's great. Do I think that the price is great, or do I think it will be great? No. But I can understand, again, because you're getting essentially 2-in-1. So you're paying for essentially a flagship smartphone and a flagship tablet at the same time. And Samsung's tablets already are not cheap.
No, they're not. And you're paying the foldable tax on top of it. It's like It's like S25 Ultra plus, Galaxy Tab S11
Ultra
plus just an additional $500 to cover the hinge, like
minus the S Pen support.
Yeah, minus the S Pen support. Well, okay, so let's pivot to the Fold, because I that was actually one of the biggest surprises of the Razr Fold for me, and I did get a brief hands-on with it at CES. So I'm happy to share my impressions with you, Derek, if you want. I don't have a ton to say, but it's an interesting device, and I do think the thing that will be the most interesting about it is the price. We'll touch on that in a second, but the stylus support is equally surprising to me. because it's about the size of a Fold 7. You know, if it's thicker, it's not that much thicker. It feels comfortable and light in the hand without having to completely ditch the digitizer that Samsung ditched to achieve the Fold 7. So I'm happy to see this, and it makes me look back in Samsung's direction. Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's, and I'm happy to hear that because my colleague Harish, he was also saying like kind of the same thing where just he was surprised at how well built it felt. And
the renders made it look bulkier than it is.
Yeah. And so like when I first saw the renders, I was like, but then like, hearing about it and like seeing other people using it, kind of made me excited because I was like, all right, so Motorola knows what they're doing. It feels like, and the fact that, they're adding their own S Pen, I guess. Because Motorola's had styluses before, but with the stylus,
always
they're
in
just
the G
like
series.
The G series, and they're also just like what is it? They're not active stylus.
No, they're just like those little capacitive.
Yeah. So like to see like Motorola come out with its own like sort of S Pen at a time when Samsung is phasing out like S Pen support and phasing out S Pen functionality is just so interesting. And it's one of the reasons why like the Razr Fold does like interest me a lot. Also, again, the fact that it is like as thin as people are saying, and I don't think we've heard anything about what the battery will be, but we've seen that Motorola is already like dipping into this silicon carbon batteries with a couple of its models. So I'm hoping like that Motorola is like, all right, let's try to fit as much battery as we can into this without making it too bulky.
Yeah, I think you're going to run into a lot of the same, hiccups that you had with other foldables with something like the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and just in terms of struggle, it's another 1x1-ish display. It feels like all of these other foldables in a way that we were just talking about of like don't be afraid to keep trying things. Foldables aren't that old of a product category.
But does it also feel like other foldables? Like, how does it feel? Because like one of the things that I like about Motorola phones is the fact that Motorola has moved away from glass on the back of their phones. The fact that they're like, pretty much all their phones have vegan leather or wood. I like that Motorola is like, that's kind of like their signature now. And so, the fact that the Razr Fold has this, and I think there's some other foldables that also have like other materials. I'm just glad to see that Motorola is like still leaning in on this to differentiate itself, especially in North America, because we only have like it's really just Samsung and Google.
I mean, there's not that many more phone companies than that right now at this point. You know what I mean? We're gonna get, by all accounts, an iPhone, a foldable iPhone this year, and I'm sure people will be excited about that. But
it's gonna have glass.
We keep the Open 2, an Open 2 someday, but like I have no idea what OnePlus's strategy is.
God. So if they even have one, because come on, OnePlus, like
that's another podcast.
Like in the US, like the only options we have, they're all like, just all glass, and Motorola's will stand out for sure, I think. And not just by looks, but like the price as well, I feel like.
Well, let's touch on that in a second. I just wanted to say, I was revisiting photos of Andrew Romero's hands-on at 9 to 5 of the Razr Fold, because again, I only used it for a few minutes. I wrote about the signature, but the black model is carbon fiber, I believe, and then I think the white model is just like a soft touch finish. If I'm remembering correctly, I might be wrong on the white one. I think I held the black one, but they feel good. They feel good. They feel premium. the problem, and I'm curious how you feel about this. Motorola, your whole thing is colors. Why is there only black and white ones?
That was my first thought too. I I think this is like a general book style foldable kind of problem.
Yeah.
Like
it is.
Over the past few years, like the big difference I've noticed between flip phones and foldables is that flip phones seem to be like the sort of fashion forward, like fun, stylish phones.
Yeah.
You look at the way that Motorola is like marketing the Razr, and it's very like Gen Z. It's very colorful. It's very just like fashion forward. It's very
that entire lineup last year was like, we are doing crazy things on all three. Like all three phones don't even have the same colors. You're picking which one you want. You know what I mean? Like,
and you know what? And I love that about Motorola's phones.
Like,
just like I don't think they have like a black or a white. Aside from like the new cloud. Whatever the new color of the year,
the Pantone. Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that was my joke during CES. I was talking to Ben, and that was my joke of like, okay, so like they're launching it in black and white. Thank God we have that Pantone color of the year coming down eventually, as Motorola loves to do. And what color is that again? Oh, right, it's white. It's white again.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed, but I also just think that I just feel like that's the nature of just the bigger foldables, that like people don't really care that much.
I just wish one company would.
I do wish that Motorola like did give us more colors, because then like it would really differentiate them from everyone else. Maybe they're just testing the waters. Like, it is their first book style foldable. So maybe this is just them like kind of seeing what the interest is, and then hopefully with the second generation we'll get like a whole Moto makers worth of
the entire rainbow.
That would be nice.
I'd like to see it.
I want to see it.
We've danced enough around the price. I think that's the big reason with so the rumored price of the Razr Fold is $1,500, which it, depending on the specs a little bit, but that's not that, if you're looking for a flagship, you're already looking in the 11, 12, probably up to $1,300 space. Like, that's an easier jump over to foldables than up to $1,800, $19,000, $2,000, as we've seen from Google and Samsung. I think that's great. Like, I genuinely think the cheaper we can get these foldables down, we will see more adoption of them. I think that's just natural. And Motorola is the company that I think can achieve a good, slightly more affordable foldable.
I agree. It's I think it's been like kind of a long time coming, and I'm sure the company's probably been working on this for a while.
Yeah.
And like trying to figure out ways to like get the price down and undercut, everyone else. It is interesting. I hope, if they can keep that price, especially at a time, when prices are going up on everything.
Yeah. Boy, are they.
So if Motorola can keep that rumored price, like I feel like that would be a great, like it like you said, it would be a great way for people to get into foldables. I already think that that's kind of like what flip phones have been doing or trying to do, where it's like your introduction to like, yes, it's not a book style, but like you're still getting a foldable. It's still a bit niche-ish.
Yeah.
And flip phones have always been kind of like the cheaper option. But unfortunately for me, as we're seeing, I think IDC had, because IDC had recently written an article for us, and at one point, the author highlights how, for the first time, at some point in 2024, or 2025, sorry, book style foldables have overtaken flip phones in terms of sales. And I'm like, that's surprising,
Yeah.
because they're so much more expensive. And, but at the same time, I guess maybe it's not that surprising because, I mean, let's be honest, everyone seems to be focused on like these book style foldables now. Like Oppo hasn't made a flip phone in years,
Yeah.
which I'm disappointed about. We nenever got one from OnePlus. I'm still waiting on a Pixel Flip.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Um,
Pixel is the big one. Samsung
um,
is rumored to be like kind of given the Flip 8 kind of a bit more attention than the Flip 7
I
got, but
hope.
like
Yeah,
even then you're like, well, and the Flip 7 did have a larger screen and was slimmed out a little bit, but you're like, compared
X
to the Fold
enough.
7, it's just so it's difficult to get excited about losing a millimeter and getting a slightly larger screen. You know what I
I
mean?
will say that that's what I will give Samsung credit for. That like my one of my problems with flip phones is that they are like I love them. They're very compact, but when you close them, they're very
They're
thick.
so bulky. I think
And
the Razor's like 15
oh,
millimeters
the
closed
Razor
or
is
something.
like yeah, she's
So
thick.
bulky.
Um, but um, with Sam and it makes it hard because I would like to like have a case on my phone, but when the phone's already thick when it's closed, and I usually use a flip phone mostly closed,
Yeah.
so the phone's already thick. I don't want to add any more bulkiness to it with a case.
Yeah.
Um,
Same boat.
so like the fact that Samsung was able to make it thinner, I think is great, and I hope that Motorola can do the same with its next flip phone, and hopefully employ some of that silicon carbon battery
I hope so. Yeah.
stuff. So like give us the same size battery, just thinner, you know, then I'm sold. Um, but yeah, like we don't get much, like companies don't seem to care about flip phones. And,
Yeah.
I guess part of that is the return on investment, probably. Like they're not making as much on flip phones as they are on foldables. So I
Yeah.
get that, but I want it.
I'm with you.
And it's
I
sad to
love
me
the
that we
idea.
don't get many of them.
Yeah, make it so pocketable that I start to forget whether it's in my pocket. Like
Hmm.
that is what I'm chasing from a smartphone these
Yes.
days, honestly.
Yes.
And that's not to say that I'm like I rushed out and bought an S25 Edge and also the iPhone Air or whatever. It's more just that like I want to see these companies so that when somebody inevitably hits the first like really good thin phone, whether it's a clamshell or just a standard one, and people start going like, wow, it weighs like 135 grams and it's 5.5 millimeters thick, and like I genuinely kept forgetting it was on my person. Like that's what I want to buy, and then also everything was good about it, and the battery lasted all day. But like we're obviously a
And it
bit
has
out
three
from anything
cameras.
like that. It has two cameras. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, someday
Yeah,
we will get there.
I am very sad that like um flip phones have kind of like I don't know, lost their luster.
A
Like
little
they're
bit.
like
Yeah.
no
I'm
one's
hoping
just
this is a
interested in
better year.
them.
I don't
I
know.
hope so too, but again, it seems everyone's so focused now on book style foldables. Like even Motorola now is,
Yeah.
you know, um, adding themselves to that. Uh, so I guess that's like where things are going, maybe, and maybe that's where I need to go too. And I don't want to spend $2,000 doing it. So Motorola can
1,500,
1,500 is like,
$500.
yes, it's still more than I would like to, spend on a phone, but it's
Yeah.
not like, thankfully, it's about $500 less than what I'd be spending on a comparable Samsung phone. So I give that to Motorola. And, you know, if the price is true, then I could consider it.
It's tempting. It's
As
tempting.
much as I want to, as compelled as I am, as compelled as I am to buy the TriFold. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
As compelled as sorry.
Take your time, Derek. I'll cut it. It's okay. Take your time.
As compelled as I am to buy the TriFold, the price is not so compelling. Or the
It's gonna
potential
be
price.
outrageous. Yeah.
Yeah. But definitely Motorola, is onto something, and fingers crossed that that rumored price is true.
Yeah, I hope so. Keep your fingers crossed. And with MWC and all of that, like it's not going to be long before we hear more about this. So plenty.
Yeah,
plenty
well, I
to
think
come.
they're launching it in the summer.
Yeah, I believe so. This strikes me as one of those things they're just going to keep showing off, right? Like if they do a
I hope
Razr
so,
event in
yeah.
the spring, like I think that'll be there even if it's
Just
more of
little
a
like
summer. Yeah, exactly.
sprinkles throughout the next like several months of like
Exactly.
information. Yeah, hopefully.
Well, let's before we wrap, let's spend a little bit of time talking about our tech resolutions for 2026, Derrek, because I don't know about you, but like I have my own like share of resolutions, and then I kind of tried to like think a little bit more about like how my relationship with technology might both impact those resolutions, and then just kind of what I can do to step back from or maybe not step back, but to create a healthier relationship with technology. So do you? I have a few prepared. I think you have a few prepared as well. Do you want to start with one and we can talk just a little bit about it, or do you want me to start?
So, my, I mean, my first one, and it's kind of like a general
Yeah,
resolution that just like is related to tech is, I'm trying to lose 20 pounds.
yeah, me too.
Um, I really want to lose three
7 of it
pounds.
I put on in December, but that's neither here nor there.
No, gosh, and it's not like people always ask like, oh, is it pandemic weight? I'm like, no, I didn't start gaining weight until after the pandemic ended.
Okay.
Um,
Mine is pandemic
and
weight, and I just kept that ball rolling.
see, and like the thing is, I like I've always been someone who like, I had this like great metabolism where I could just eat
Yeah.
anything and just not gain weight. And then, age caught up with me. And now my metabolism is not
No.
that great. Now I
Yeah.
actually have to watch what I eat. I have to actually exercise. And I hate
Look
working
on your
out.
face.
I hate working out. I
I know
do
you
it.
do.
I do it
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 days a week. And everyone thinks I love it, but no, I hate it.
No. You and I
Um,
have talked about this in the past before. I know you do it, but that does not mean you have learned to enjoy it.
yeah, um, and so part of that is, I've been relying on quite a few like tech products help help me get there, really.
Yeah.
One of the main ones is like, I have a withing scale, which I
Yeah.
use, to help me track like not only my weight, but my body fat percentage.
Yeah.
Um, because that's really what I'm trying to get down. Um, but also, I have a couple watches, and like everyone thinks I'm weird for this, but I wear like my Pixel watch and Garmin at
Okay.
the same time. Because I don't know. I like Fitbit, but I also like Garmin, and I just can't
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
No,
Like I like
I
them for
totally
different
get it.
reasons.
I think there's a lot of pros to doing that if you have both available to you and you don't mind
Yeah.
having two watches on, because you're going to get a lot of like the standard smartwatch stuff is just going to be better on a Pixel watch, but the fitness stuff I still think is going to be better on a or at least more straightforward and to the point on a Garmin watch. It's not,
Yeah.
whether no matter how you feel about like the Fitbit changes Google's made recently, especially like all the AI stuff, which I've
You
heard
know,
is appealing at first and then eventually becomes either information overload or very repetitive, and you end up
I
kind
can
of
I can
ignoring
see
it.
that. I
Yeah.
I don't mind it too much. I I recently wrote an article about that too, about like the new like health coach thing, the personal health coach, and like I don't mind it because I feel like it really like motivates me, I guess,
Yeah.
and just like I have it come up with these fitness plans for me every week, and I do them, and I think that there can be some improvements to how it's implemented, but like, it at least like, I'm the kind of person who I need, like, I can't just go to the gym without like some kind of plan. And like, I don't know, like to have like a watch tell me to do something, like to
Yeah.
me, just like feels like having an actual like person, like a coach telling me like, okay, you got to do this. And with Fitbit, like, I like that at least like with those workouts, they're a little bit, for lack of a better word, like easier for me to
Mhm.
handle and manage. Um, on the other hand, I like Garmin. Um, I like Garmin because it's more of a challenge, I feel like.
Mhm.
Like with the Fitbit, I'm at the gym probably for about an hour, which is like my normal gym time.
Yeah.
With Garmin, with its curated workouts, I'm at the gym for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Um,
It's a lot of time.
it's a lot of time, and
It's a
ain't
lot of
nobody
time.
got time for that. And so,
Some people
but
do, and I'm always like, how have you
oh
been
yeah,
here
they
for
do.
2 hours? Like, what is your life?
No, I can't do that.
No.
I have
I'd
things to
rather go
do.
more, but in shorter amounts of time than,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
yeah. And so, and it's definitely a challenge. But at the same time, too, like it's, I like with like Fitbit, I like that each week it's like, all right, you did this last week. Let's like up it or
Yeah.
increase it or like, so it's going based off of what it knows I've been doing, and it's like, all right, let's push you a little bit more. Let's do this. And so that's kind of why I like to like use both, just to like kind of get like the insights from both. And also it's also just good to mix up your workouts week by week.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll just follow Fitbit, sometimes I'll follow Garmin. Um, just kind of shock my body. Um, uh, so yeah, I've been using that, using the Aura Ring. Um,
Wow. You're just Mr. Wearable.
you know, yeah, it's a lot of my friends make fun of me because they see me wearing all these devices, and they're like, Derek, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm like, I'm doing everything. What can
That's
I
so
say?
funny. Well, sometimes that's just the reviewer's lifestyle, but you've adopted it to be your own, and I
True.
admire it. I admire it. Um, that's great. I honestly, it's interesting. I wrote down a few tech things that I wanted to do this year, and like, I'm surprised that fitness didn't really cross over more, because I do have a bunch of fitness goals for this year. Even just stuff as like simple as like, I would like to eventually I I would like to eventually start my day with a walk, right? With just like getting
Mm.
outside like first thing in the morning instead of,
I keep telling myself
not.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Do you know what though? Do you know how easy it is to not do that? It's
I do.
so easy.
Because I,
So
I, I,
simple.
I set my alarm like an hour before I start work for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
reason. So I can
Same.
like,
No, same.
maybe I'll get up and like either like do a quick little run or like
Yep.
a short walk to at least try to get
Nope.
my like 7 to 10,000 steps in a day.
Not
And
happening.
nope.
So maybe there's a tech way I can figure that out. But like in my head, I'm like, I don't know, man. If I just go on a 15-minute walk around my neighborhood, I feel like that's going to get me in a better headspace to start the day. Because
Mm,
I do think that one of the problems, and I've worked from home for, I mean, genuinely coming up on a decade next year. So this is nothing I'm like not used to, but I have had this feeling in my gut of like, man, a commute would actually probably help my brain adjust to like, this is work hours and now you're back at
mhm.
home hours. And in my head, I'm like, well, an early morning walk would really help with that. It's a shame that I was going to start that on this Monday. I had a doctor's appointment Monday, and then we got hit with a snap snowstorm the last 2 days.
Oh,
So
love
I'm
that.
like, I'm not. My
Well,
walk
you want to
yesterday
go? You
morning
don't want
was
to
the
go walk in the
snowblower.
snow?
It was so nasty out yesterday, and cold. It dropped to like
Mm.
12 degrees or something. I think it's
Oh, that's it.
17 right now. Oh no, we're up to a balmy 26. So it's basically a heat wave.
See, I love the snow. Whenever it
I do
snows,
too, but
I mean,
yeah,
okay, granted, we don't get snow like y'all do.
true.
Um, But
I think
whenever
we've
it
gotten
snows,
probably like 8 or 9 inches in the last like day.
I mean, it hasn't snowed here yet, and I'm waiting for it. But whenever it snows here, like the first thing I do is go outside and walk in it shirtless, just so I could just feel it on my body.
Sure.
'Cause I love the snow. So any time it snows, I'm out there walking.
Look, I can't blame you. We were talking about
But
this morning. I had a.
I
Oh, go
can't
ahead.
blame you for not.
Well, I think the early in the morning thing is part of it, right? Because it's not just going out for a walk in the snow. I love like a nice afternoon walk. It's the morning, right? It's the
It is
first
the
to roll out of
morning.
bed, put
Yes.
your boots on and hit the
Yes.
pavement. But like, I went to the barber this morning, and like my walk over from where I parked, it was just a few minute walk, but like it was snow. It was those big slow flakes that were just falling, and the entire like street is covered in
Oh.
snow, and the tree, and you're like, well, this is just beautiful. Well, this is just beautiful weather.
Like even just like picturing it, I'm just like, oh, that sounds lovely.
It's lovely. It's lovely. It's the small wet snow flakes that
And
are
you don't have a
awful.
dog, right?
No.
Okay, so you don't have to like go out and walk a
No,
pet.
I don't. No,
Which, I mean,
we're the
I'm happy
only.
I don't have to, but like that would be one way to force you to go out and walk.
And I've thought about that because we are like the only or one of the few. This is obviously not true, but it feels like we are the only house on our street that is both childless and dogless. It's
I
like
feel
you
that way
gotta
too.
be at least one, and we're like
Yeah.
no kids, and we have 2 cats.
You could go and walk your cat. I've always thought about like just getting a cat and just going out. Because like in my neighborhood,
Yeah,
everyone at like by like 4 p.m., everyone's out with their dog. And I'm just like,
same. Yeah,
gosh, like I should have a pet. So
I know.
so I'm
Linus
like,
would
maybe I'll
love
just
it.
get a cat and just walk my cat
I
out.
look. We've had this thought. Linus would love it. Like our other cat Murphy, she's not interested. You could leave the door open for her and she would not walk outside. She looks at that and says, "That's none of my business." But Linus really would like it. The issue is that anytime we've tried to put either like a collar or like the you're supposed to put like a harness on them, like he hates it so much that it's like, well, unless you get comfortable wearing this, we could never even try to take you outside. So, because you're going to just want to run. So yeah, maybe someday we'll become those people who take their cat for a walk. Cause he would love it. But I don't want anything
think of like
bad to happen.
I can't really think of ways though to like motivate you to like walk.
Well, and that might be like a tech thing worth thinking about, like whether that's, even just, oh God, getting back into something like Pokemon Go. I did this 2 summers ago.
I'm still into Pokemon Go.
The problem is you think any summer I've gotten back into it. It's every few summers I dive back in and I get really into it. And then fall rolls around and I start to play a little bit less. And then winter rolls around and I'm just like, I'm not doing it. So maybe I need to not start in the summer. Maybe I need to start now, get back into Pokemon Go now. And that's because there's a stop at the end of my street. So I wouldn't even have to walk that far, but it would get me my, 10 minutes in. It's something. It's better than nothing. Derrek, you have added a resolution to my list.
Play
Pokemon Go. Back into Pokemon Go.
Add Derrek.
Yes, I will add when we'll chat about that after we wrap. But yeah, I mean, largely speaking, a lot of my resolutions are pretty simple. I mean, number one is really just less doom scrolling. I want to be more specific about what I'm using my device for and be more thoughtful in my approach to tech. But otherwise, it's not a ton of stuff. I want to kind of declutter. I don't know about you, Derrek, but I'm like loaded up on old stuff. I when I moved from Android Police 9 to 5 last year, I got to declutter a bunch of things, but I could declutter more. Like there's stuff that, it's my own stuff that I've bought because I purchase lots and lots of gadgets. I have a problem that I need to curtail, that I should probably get rid of some of the stuff that, I mean, there is at least one television in this house that is just sitting in the basement unused because I have a problem. So
okay,
decluttering,
that's such a problem
like
to have. This extra TV, I don't know what.
Well,
to do
it's not
with
a good TV. It's a cheap TV that was at the old apartment. God, I mean, we bought it in like 2019. So like it's an old television, but stuff like that, where it's like, why am I holding on to this old, crappy, I don't even remember the brand. I don't even remember the brand. Insignia. I think it might have been a cheap Insignia TV from Best Buy. But yeah, neither here nor there. But it's for me, tech this year is about being more mindful in my approach, whether I'm buying something or using it or selling it. That's really it for me,
You sound like such an influencer.
Thank you. That's my goal. That's my goal.
I just want to be more mindful about my tech.
Well, it's funny. Number 8 on my list. I wrote 8 down, but they're all kind of the same idea. But the last one I wrote before writing Pokemon Go was straight up just figure out social media, a thing I'm bad at. I'm so bad at social media.
Oh, I know. Me, I think one of mine is probably to, it's probably the opposite of you, is to kind of tone down on social media. And I've already started that, I feel like, because like I don't use X very much. Like just to like check who's posted what and like, the happenings of whatever.
That's my problem. I have to let go of the happenings because I get too into it. Yeah.
I don't post as much as I used to. I think I post maybe like twice a year on X. I don't really post on Threads. I barely post on Facebook. The only time I post on Facebook is if I'm traveling somewhere just to kind of show off. Like Instagram is my problem. I don't use TikTok like at all.
Yeah.
So like I feel like I'm already good there.
You love your reels, man. I'm
a millennial. I love a reel. What can I say? Give me YouTube Shorts.
Damn, Derek, how old are you?
Okay, whatever. I need to tone down like with Instagram because I do get into reels so much, and I will spam all my friends with a bunch of reels. Like it'll be like first thing I do when I wake up is like I just look at 9 reels and I'm like sending them to like everyone. I do like try to curate my reels to people who I think will like certain reels. So
I know this. I know I'm part of a group of I feel like I'm like in a very specific group when you send me reels. Like but I'm enjoying them. Even if I don't respond, I do enjoy them.
I don't think I've sent you any reels in a while.
No, it's been a minute.
I know
I've been so bad about Instagram. I've been.
I know that. That's why I haven't sent you anything.
But I've been awful about Instagram.
But I'm also, it's like as I'm sending them, it's kind of like that scene from Mean Girls where it's like, I could hear them getting annoyed with me, but I couldn't stop myself or whatever. Like, like I know that I'm like spamming people. I know that I'm being annoying, but it's like, oh, this is so funny. Like, I want you to laugh at this too. It's like, I care, because I want you, I care about you so much that I want you to laugh with me. Like, and I think this is something that you will laugh at. So like,
that's a sweet way of thinking about it though.
But I'm also like,
nice.
I need to like calm down and like, just like, I don't know, instead of sending it to people, maybe, now that they have their retweet sort of button now, maybe I'll just start using that more, so then they'll at least see it. So I don't know, I need to calm down with Instagram specifically.
Any other resolutions for you before
my other one, that was one really, but my other one is kind of related to my first one, and I really want to run a 5K. I'm not a runner at all. I cannot stand running.
Trust me, you've told me this.
Any sort of exercise, I just not a fan of. But I have been, I've been actually using Fitbit to sort of change that a bit. When I wrote an article about it last year about how like I've been really relying on Fitbit's like AI running recommendations. And I find it really effective. Because it teaches me how to pace myself. And And, I went from only being able to run like a mile at most to like now I've been able to hit like 3 miles,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
fairly
you're right there
consistently.
then. You're,
Yeah, I
that's
know.
that's
I
that's a
just need to
5K
like, I just, I just need to do it like, like
routinely.
consistently, routinely,
Yeah.
and then like actually do like an actual 5K.
Yeah.
So like, hopefully like this year I'll sign up for one, and do it. But like, yeah, I've really been like relying on Fitbit a lot for that. And it's been
Yeah.
great.
I'm interested to see the next like 5 to 10 years of like fitness apps, right? Like especially
Yeah.
not so much on the Play Store or the App Store, because I kind of think the subscriptions, a lot of those like AI, we're gonna make a plan for you apps charge are like nonsense. Like I mean, they're in some cases the cost of a gym membership, and it's like,
Mhm.
what are we doing here? But the stuff from Google and Samsung and Garmin and Apple, like I'm genuinely curious to see how these evolve into more useful fitness like suites. Like that sounds weird, but like a suite of fitness tools that allow you to achieve your goals a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And I think Google is on the right track, but definitely has some quirks to work out with their fitness stuff.
Like,
but like it's not
especially like its
a bad
integration
start.
with Strava, like
Yeah.
it's kind of non-existent.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me to get my workouts on Strava, and I like Strava because it's kind of a motivator too. It's like,
You can see everybody else's
yeah, and then like
results.
when people give you
Yeah.
kudos, like it feels
Exactly.
great.
We had Ryan Haynes on to talk about running last year, and like he said the exact same thing when talking about Strava. It was like how much that impacts his running. So
Yeah, especially from people who I know are like so much better at fitness than I am. Like to give me a kudos, I'm like, oh, that feels good.
Derrek, thank you so much for joining the show. This has been so much fun. Where can people find you, find your work?
You can find me and my work on androidcentral.com. I have a weekly column called, it's really just Editor's Desk. So you can find my stuff, most likely every Saturday.
Nice.
Gets published. I also do a somewhat weekly poll on Android Central, so you can look forward to that usually towards the beginning of the week. But yeah, find me on androidcentral.com, Derrek Lee.
There we go.
Yeah.
And if you follow Derrek on Instagram and become friends with him, he'll just send you reels. So
yes, I am Derrek Lee on Instagram.
You don't actually have to share your Instagram if you don't want to.
Hey, if you want to follow me, it's and you don't have to. In fact, probably just don't, because if you're looking for tech like stuff,
yeah,
you'll see none of that on my Instagram.
That's fair. That's fair.
But hey, if you want to, like, I still like will post every so often, like on my stories about whatever tech event I'm at.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, my Instagram is very non-techy.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, that's mine too. So there we go. Derrek, thank you so much. And that'll do it for us today. Thank you again to Derrek for coming on the show. That was a really fun conversation that we had. Thank you to you for listening or watching. Please rate the show wherever you listen to it. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the 9 to 5 Google channel. Feel free to share it with a friend. We are still a growing show, but certainly one that I'm excited to see where it goes in 2026. Next week, we will have Jason Howell on. I'm a huge fan of Jason. I am sure lots of people listening to this podcast are as well, because Jason has been a longtime Android fan and a longtime part of the Android community, and runs his own excellent Android podcast in addition to lots of other shows. In fact, Jason was one of the first podcasters I ever listened to way back. CNET's Buzz Out Loud, I believe he produced. So I'm really excited to talk to Jason. I don't think we've ever been on a podcast together, but he's one of the nicest guys in the industry. Every time I've run into him at a tech event, I've had a great time chatting with him. So that'll be next week's episode. Usually this would be the wrap up, but I'm actually going to throw to a bonus segment that Derrek and I recorded in the pre-show last week, where we just talked a little bit about recent Pokemon games and then the promise of new Pokemon titles coming. If you're interested in Pokemon, you might want to stick around for that. And if not, we will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.
So have you played ZA?
Yeah, but I haven't beaten it.
Okay. Thoughts? I feel like we're totally just like haven't even started yet. But...
I mean, that's totally fine. I liked it. I like it, but I felt like I played 10 hours of it, kind of felt what the loop was, and then felt like I got it. Like I was like, I feel like I'm satisfied now. I don't need to finish this.
I go through like bouts of that. Like it's like once I finished the game, I was like, all right, nothing to do. And then the DLC came out, and I was like, oh, okay, stuff to do. And now I'm like going through the DLC, and like even with the whole like, have you started the DLC?
No, I have not.
Because like you have to go through like different pockets of like dimension, whatever, and like do all these just different challenges. It's similar to the whatever the nighttime trainer battle thing is, the whatever that was called, where you challenges, you collect points, and then you have enough points to do, I can't remember. But like, I don't know, because it's kind of like a similar thing, I was kind of like, all right, I'm already like, after 2 like bouts of like going through dimension, fighting Pokemon, doing challenges, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of over this right now. So it's like I'm at the point where I just want the story to keep going,
right?
And I also want that Raichu,
right? Yeah. On the logo, I remember. That's like the only thing I know about the DLC.
Yeah, it's weird. You make donuts,
okay,
which I guess,
yeah, why not?
You have what is that Pokemon again called with the rings?
Oh,
the like genie thing, or I don't know.
Hoopa.
Yeah, Hoopa is like following
you
and like opening dimensional pockets around.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's weird, but I do like the game. The fact that I don't know, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did because it only takes place in a city, but it like keeps the story
I wish
grounded.
The city was a little more interesting, I
guess. Yeah, they like, graphically could have been better. This also, the city could have been more interesting. I do again miss the days of when you could just walk into like almost any building and like anyone's home.
I know.
And just like trespass. The city could have been more interesting, but again, like the fact that it's only in the city like keeps the story grounded.
I was enjoying the story overall as far as like the Pokemon story goes, and like performance on the Switch 2 was totally fine. Like
it's great. And good. The battle system is fun.
Yeah, I really liked the battle system. I just like after 10 hours, I was like, okay, I want more, and the game was like, this is kind of what you're doing, and I'm okay. I'm excited. God, we're like a month and change out from whatever their Pokemon Day announcements are going to be in February. So curious.
Excited.
I mean, like, there's been all those leaks, so I guess we kind of have an idea of what they're working on. But like, I hope curious.
I hope they're true. I hope a lot of them are true. Like procedurally generated islands sound interesting.
That Gen 1 to 4 game was like, I want to know what that is. Where you're
honestly, and I've talked about this for years with so many people that like my dream Pokemon game is like an MMO that like, I mean, in my head, it would start with like the first, like, Kanto and Johto.
Yeah.
And you just like go through
and it
them
expands
both,
out.
And then, expansions, so then keep it going. But like, if it's going to be Gen 1 through 4 to start, like, I'm fine with that too. I think that's like the ideal Pokemon game because it's like what Pokemon Go is trying to achieve, where it's like, with actual people.
Yeah.
But like an MMO, and like I feel like that is the quintessential like Pokemon game. Like that is what they have been working towards.
I agree. I give me that big, get Monolith in there, or
Yeah,
anybody to help out development, anybody who
yeah.
knows big open worlds, and like
Because
figure it
Game
out.
Freak
And like,
surely
yeah,
can't.
yeah, exactly.
uh, oh, Game Freak.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Let's do this. I don't take up any more of your time.